close your eyes and let your breathing slow. Tonight, we're traveling back to the year 1347, to a small monastery nestled in the rolling hills of what is now northern France. Here, in the peaceful scriptorium, lives Brother Benedict, a middle-aged monk whose entire world revolves around the careful copying and preservation of manuscripts. There is nothing dramatic about Brother Benedict's life, nothing urgent, nothing that will keep your mind racing. Just the slow, methodical rhythm of medieval monastery life, where each day flows into the next like pages turning in an ancient book. Brother Benedict wakes each morning at the sound of the matins bell, just as he has for the past 23 years. The bell rings at the same time, in the same tone, calling the brothers to prayer in the chapel. But Benedict's mind is already on the manuscripts waiting for him in the scriptorium. After prayers and a simple breakfast of bread, watered wine, and sometimes a bit of cheese, Benedict makes his way through the stone corridors. His sandals make soft shuffling sounds against the worn flagstones. The same stones, the same path, the same gentle shuffling sound, day after day after day. The scriptorium is a long, narrow room with tall windows facing east to catch the morning light. 24 wooden desks are arranged in neat rows. Each desk has its own small shelf for inks, quills, and the precious parchment. Benedict's desk is the third from the left in the second row. It has been his desk for so long that there is a small, smooth groove worn into the wood where his left hand rests while he writes. He begins by preparing his materials, the same routine he has followed for thousands of mornings. First, he examines his quill pen, checking that the tip is properly cut. If it needs sharpening, he takes out his small penknife and carefully trims it at just the right angle. The process takes several minutes. There is no hurrying in manuscript work. Next, he prepares his ink. The monastery makes its own ink from oak galls, iron, and gum arabic. Benedict mixes just enough for the morning's work, stirring it slowly with a small wooden stick until it reaches the perfect consistency. Not too thick, not too thin. The same careful process he has repeated thousands upon thousands of times. The parchment before him is made from sheepskin, stretched and scraped until it is smooth and white. Lines have been drawn with a stylus to guide his writing. Perfectly straight lines, evenly spaced. The parchment has a particular smell, slightly sweet and earthy, that has become as familiar to Benedict as his own breathing. Benedict dips his quill and begins to write. Each letter is formed with deliberate care. The text he is copying today is Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In Latin, of course. Dominus regit me, et nihil mihi dirit. The familiar words flow from his pen in beautiful, even script. Each letter takes time. The downstrokes must be thick, the upstrokes thin. The spacing between letters must be consistent. The spacing between words must be just so. When Benedict finishes a line, he does not immediately begin the next. He sets down his quill and examines his work. He checks the spacing, the consistency of the ink, the formation of each letter. Only when he is satisfied does he pick up his quill again and continue. The morning passes slowly. Outside the windows, the sun moves gradually across the sky, shifting the light in the scriptorium from the pale gold of early morning to the stronger yellow of mid-morning. Other monks work quietly at their own desks. The only sounds are the soft scratching of quills on parchment, the occasional clearing of a throat, and the distant chanting from the chapel where other brothers continue their prayers. Brother Thomas approaches Benedict's desk with a question about the spelling of a particular word in an old manuscript. They discuss it quietly for a few minutes, examining similar words in other texts. The question is resolved, and Brother Thomas returns to his own work, his footsteps echoing softly on the stone floor. At midday, a small bell rings to signal the lunch break. Benedict carefully cleans his quill and covers his inkwell. He marks his place in the manuscript he is copying with a small strip of parchment. Everything must be kept in perfect order. Lunch is taken in silence in the refectory. The monks eat simple food, bread, vegetables from the monastery garden, and perhaps some fish on feast days. Today there is bread, cabbage soup, and small apples from the orchard. Benedict eats slowly, methodically, his mind still partly on the manuscript waiting for him. After lunch, there is a brief rest period. Some monks use this time to walk in the cloister garden. Benedict prefers to remain in the scriptorium, organizing his materials for the afternoon's work. He sharpens quills that will be needed later. He checks the level of ink in various containers. He arranges sheets of parchment in neat stacks. The afternoon work begins much like the morning. Benedict returns to his psalm. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. The Latin flows from his pen. In loco pasquae ibi me collocavit. The afternoon light is different from the morning light. It is warmer, more golden. It slants through the tall windows at a different angle, casting different shadows on Benedict's work. But the rhythm of the copying remains the same. Dip the quill. Form each letter carefully. Check the spacing. Move to the next word. The same peaceful, methodical process. The librarian, Brother Matthew, comes through the scriptorium checking on the progress of various copying projects. He pauses at Benedict's desk to examine the psalm. He nods approvingly at the neat script and careful spacing.
"Very good work, Brother Benedict,"
he says softly.
"Your lettering grows more beautiful each year."
Benedict feels a quiet satisfaction at this praise, though he does not let it distract him from his work. Pride is a sin, after all, and besides, he has many more lines to copy before the day is done. A young novice brings fresh candles for the afternoon. The days are growing shorter now as autumn approaches, and soon the monks will need candlelight to continue their work. The novice moves quietly through the scriptorium, replacing burned-down candles with new ones. He is careful not to drip wax on any of the manuscripts. As the afternoon wears on, the light begins to fade. Benedict has completed several more verses of the psalm. His progress is steady, but unhurried. There is no deadline for this particular manuscript, except the natural rhythm of the work itself. The evening bell rings, calling the monks to vespers. Benedict again cleans his quill and covers his ink. He examines the day's work one more time, counting the lines he has completed. 12 lines of text, each one carefully formed, each one bringing the manuscript closer to completion. In the chapel, the monks chant the evening prayers. The familiar Latin words echo off the stone walls. Benedict's voice joins with the others in the ancient melodies that have been sung in this place for generations. The chanting is another kind of rhythm, like the rhythm of his copying, repetitive and peaceful. After Vespers comes the evening meal, again taken in silence. Tonight there is bread, cheese, and ale. The ale is weak and slightly sweet, brewed by the monks in their own brewery. Benedict drinks it slowly, feeling the slight warmth it brings to his stomach. After the evening meal, there is a brief period of free time before Compline, the final prayer service of the day. Some monks use this time for personal prayer or meditation. Others tend to small tasks around the monastery. Benedict chooses to return to the scriptorium for a few minutes. Not to work, the light is too dim now for copying, but simply to prepare for tomorrow. He arranges his materials, checks his supply of parchment, and plans which part of the psalm he will copy next. The scriptorium is quiet and shadowy in the evening light. The tall windows that provided such excellent illumination during the day now show only the deepening blue of twilight. A few stars are beginning to appear in the clear sky. Benedict runs his fingers along the edge of the manuscript he has been copying. The parchment is smooth and cool to the touch. Tomorrow he will add more words to it, more lines of careful script. Day after day, the manuscript grows slowly toward completion. The final bell of the day rings, calling the monks to Compline. This last service is shorter than the others, consisting mainly of prayers for protection through the night. The chapel is lit only by a few candles, creating pools of warm light in the darkness. After Compline, the monks observe the great silence, speaking only if absolutely necessary until after morning prayers. Benedict makes his way through the darkened corridors to his small cell. The stone floors are cold under his sandals, and he can hear the soft footsteps of other monks also retiring for the night. Benedict's cell is simple: a narrow bed with a straw mattress and woolen blankets, a small wooden cross on the wall, and a tiny window that looks out onto the monastery garden. There is a wooden chest at the foot of the bed where he keeps his few personal belongings: a spare habit, a prayer book, and a small wooden cup for drinking water. He kneels beside his bed for personal prayers, thanking God for the peaceful day and asking for rest through the night. The prayers are familiar, comforting in their repetition. Like everything else in Benedict's life, they follow a pattern that has remained unchanged for years. Finally, Benedict removes his sandals and lies down on his narrow bed. The straw mattress rustles softly as he settles into his usual sleeping position. Through his small window, he can see a few stars shining in the clear night sky. Tomorrow will bring another day much like today: prayers, copying, simple meals, and the quiet satisfaction of work well done. And so Brother Benedict sleeps, as he has slept on thousands of nights before. His dreams, if he has any, are probably of manuscripts and quill pens, of neat lines of text growing slowly across smooth parchment. In the morning, he will wake to the sound of the matins bell, and the cycle will begin again. There is something deeply peaceful about such a life, where each day brings the same gentle routines, the same quiet work, the same spiritual rhythms, no urgent deadlines, no complex decisions, no dramatic events to disturb the tranquil flow of time. Just the slow, careful copying of ancient words, letter by letter, line by line, page by page. The preservation of knowledge and faith through the patient work of human hands. The quiet satisfaction of a task done well, again and again and again. Let yourself drift now into the same peaceful rhythm that governs Brother Benedict's days. Let your breathing slow to match the gentle pace of monastery life. Feel your mind settling into the same tranquil state that comes from simple, repetitive work. There is nothing urgent waiting for you, nothing that cannot wait until tomorrow. Just rest now, peaceful and unhurried, like a manuscript slowly taking shape under a careful hand. Sleep well. Good night.